See, bitches, support my vitally important work on coffee, or to join the channel and get yourself a shiny little icon. As far as I'm concerned, it's best good if it's out of focus because it's copyrighted material anyway. Okay, Greg Bear had a book about aliens that spread a disease to wipe out humankind. It worked only on men. Well, welcome to Clown World. It's not a gender binary, it's a sex binary. Your sex is immutable. How you feel doesn't change that. You can admire the fine clothing all you want, but the emperor has no clothes. You're not assigned gender at birth. Your sex is simply described. We love the source material, but, well, then everything that preceded that but is probably a lie. You don't love the source material. You love its use of to use it as propaganda. Here's the thing. I'm not politically correct, and it's not going to be the end of the world when I get kicked off YouTube. I'll just get another burner phone and hop on. And jokes aside, and it won't be able to be monetized, but that's not the end of the world either. So, jokes aside, I have no problem with anything in the BLT community. Life is short. Do whatever your soul desires. But there's a difference in living your best life in the real world and trying to convince people that your fantasy world is the real world, which is, again, advocate for whatever interests you have. But then you come up to forcing them to pretend to believe that you're Napoleon. It's funny, we used to have people in the street. That's like kind of an old reference to the Napoleon stuff. That goes back to like Bugs Bunny cartoons and stuff, where you don't have people thinking that, like crazy people in the street thinking they're Napoleon. It's like, well, we have crazy people who are just as insane, but now they're on Twitter or they have YouTube shows. They love the science sometimes, but so few of them are actually scientists. Science is just science, period. It's math is math. It constantly gets improved and occasionally overturned, to be fair. But scientists they know who pays the bill and which way the wind is blowing. Science is pure, but academia is very biased. And I'm not talking about anything else other than this topic at hand. We are reaching Joker Planet levels I didn't even imagine. Though those guys at those Liberty device shows over the past decades with their grubby little pamphlets on how to be a person who seeks liberty, they imagined this Joker Planet. They imagined it, and hopefully they prepared for it, and hopefully you're preparing for it also. Get a lot of rice and freedom tablets. There was another period of history where some similar levels of degeneracy were reached, and actually America is more Weimar than Weimar, so congratulations, heading right to the bottom. Rewriting source material, it's fine, it's fiction, it doesn't matter, but it's a tricksy shifting of fiction, what they're doing right here. Overall, this story is fiction, that's fine, but it has internal rules of logic and order. But what they do is they present some of the story as not violating these internal rules of the story universe for propaganda purposes. They're affirming that trans men are men, etc. But what does affirming mean? It's just circular reasoning. State the conclusion, then you restate the conclusion without proving it via any analysis. Because you can't. A man is an adult human male. They're using cultural Marxism to pressure people into believing nonsense. We believe science is real, except men or women. Then why do you have two different words for the same thing if the thing refers to the same concept? That doesn't make sense. If you have to say a trans dog is a dog, then it's not. It's something that is not a dog. That's how language works. If I'm a Russian, but I say that I'm a trans, well, I guess in both cases I'd be, can I make an alcoholism joke? Or is that literally... That's probably not even allowed on YouTube. Okay, so I take back the alcoholism joke. I'm not actually Irish. Those words are a material misrepresentation of the truth, i.e. a lie. If anything, Irish and Russian are closer than the division of male and female, because Eurasian divisions are on the order of thousands of years, but sex is like Cambrian or something. That's like hundreds of millions of years for the battle of the sexes. I feel like these people know that they're in Clown World. Oh yeah, they definitely know it, but they just cut another line and say, "Oh, this is going to be brilliant. We're going to get these. We're going to upset the MAGAs normies." Snort another line and come up with some ridiculous show. It's like, well, where's the money coming from? Don't ask, because the money just keeps coming. Were eukaryotes and prokaryotes cross-dressing? I think they had to wait a few million years. Identify as silicon-based life, but you're not. OMG, you're literally denying me my protons. I hate to break it to you, you're just not silicon. Different things are different. No matter how hard you want to be wishing carbon into silicon, it's not going to happen without a star or creating some unusual laboratory conditions. In the story universe, if something targets males specifically, then a disease can't tell that he's wearing lipstick and a dress. It doesn't change the sex. It's just ridiculous. If the first two constants are XX or XY, then that is the binary division. Now, within that binary, you can have variables onto that code that are abnormalities or defects in the code. XX women plus a defect that usually isn't even noticeable, and XY men plus a defect. But the split is still male and female. That's a hard limit, at least in humans. So the logic is that in the story universe, it still must be internally consistent, or the story violates the willing suspension of disbelief, and the person just finds himself losing interest in the story, like, oh, this is just like Disney Star Wars silliness. Like, OMG, why do you even like care? Touch grass, my dude. You're so pressed, my guy. They say the same phrases on Twitter all the time. It's really funny. Keep in mind that the soy people that are telling you this also pay for sex. They literally are inside on their Twitter 3 hours a day. You can look at their Twitter history. Like, oh, you've been on Twitter 5 years, and how many tweets do you have? Oh, 6 million. But they keep telling people to go outside. It's like they haven't seen the sun in years. Trust the science. Science is real. Irish lives matter. Love is love. Except biological sex is like a social contract or construct or like whatever, because my college professor told me something. Was it a physics professor? Because I'm kind of assuming it wasn't like a chemistry professor or upper division math professor. It was like one of the softer humanities courses, right? It wasn't, it was a computer engineering professor, was it? You weren't analyzing like tensors and vectors and stress analysis and Moore's envelopes. It was something else, like literature, right? Yeah, that's kind of what I expected. Sorry, friend. Off to the happy camps for you, because there are no XY women, you effing idiot. That combination of words is nonsense. Well, what is a word? I'm glad you asked. It's a collection of sounds made by a human that refers to a concept or thing. It's like a too large rug. If you push down on it, a ripple will just pop up. Ripples will be constantly popping in and out of existence. Applying force doesn't change the fundamental foundational structure of our universe or of the rug. Changing words is just going to cause people to say something like bio men or real men to distinguish from the cultural Marxism propaganda term. Usually one sex wants to mate with the other sex and have their biological child. Two men can't do that. So during most of your day-to-day interactions, you can use whatever pronouns the puppet master forces you to use. Because when it comes down to it, that part doesn't matter, your day-to-day existence. What matters is a boy meeting a girl and forming the holy trinity. Only male and female can make the magic number 3, the sacred trinity. Man and a woman and a little baby. To quote Bob Duro, 3 is magic number. It's probably on YouTube. What the left is doing has ancient roots in the sinister path of filth and corruption, the anti-light, anti-life path, Lucifer entropy, the path away from man's ascension to the stars, to spreading out into the galaxy. All humans do good and bad things, just at varying scales according to their innate capabilities and, to be fair, the environment around them. If you're on an island with wood as your only construction material and the only ore you can smelt would make aluminum, then you're kind of out of luck unless you leave the island to be able to smelt metal somewhere else. But a few tribes actually do great things. That's kind of rare. Most are content for their daily hunter-gatherer existence, their daily bread. Only a few reach for the stars. Right now, we're seeing this group of people who are trying to prevent man's ascension. If you read David Brin's books on the Uplift War, kind of what I'm talking about, because the wrong people are the ones who are making great things. They're trying to destroy them as fast as possible. Where do you think this is going? Who would have known that my early science fiction love, instead of being in school, I was reading science fiction, would come in handy. A society of Babel, McDonald's, trans kids, where Twitter and the bankers control elections. If you're not on social media and you can't use the financial institutions to crowdfund, you're not getting elected. That's foundational and fundamental, something that needs to be redressed. At this point, it's better to burn it to ashes and rebuild, with the lesson learned that degeneracy must not be tolerated. Diversity, multiculturalism, globalism was designed to create hunters and gatherers, or modern bread and circus worshippers, just fat, stoned, stupid, placid, bovine, video game playing, dependent on the government for everything. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, join the channel, and support my valuable work on coffee. I'm doing the Lord's work. Guys, I'll see you on the next episode.